You're listening to episode 88 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Dr. Mihaela Telecan.
My first 18 years of life were under communism. And that was quite a very, very unique and different experience, life experience, that goes from food to information.
Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hand, and welcome to the Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we dive into what makes an awesome lifestyle. From relationships to money mindset, nutrition to fitness, emotional health to peak performance, we bring you on an amazing journey to unleashing your human potential. All right, everyone, I know we're excited about this guest today. Dr. Mihaela Telecan holds a degree in veterinary medicine and a Master of Science in Dietetics and Nutrition. She advanced her nutrition studies in functional medicine and mind-body medicine through the Institute of Functional Medicine and the Center for Mind-Body Medicine. She added her knowledge of coaching skills through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. She also is a Certified Dietetics Educator and a GAPS Certified Practitioner. Dr. Mihaela is known as the LowCarbRD and Mindset Coach. She is the author of Make Peace with Fat and the founder of Healing with Foods, a wellness coaching practice focused on helping women reverse metabolic disorders like diabetes, PCOS, dyslipidemia, obesity, and more, reduce inflammation and pain, heal leaky gut and autoimmunity, all by using a whole foods, ancestral approach along with important mindset and lifestyle strategies. Sounds pretty cool, right? She was featured on local television stations called Buzz TV and Jack Channel 4 River City Live, as well as published articles in Huffington Post, Elephant Journal, 904 Fitness, and Proactive Health Magazine. She was also quoted in Life Extension Magazine and interviewed on various podcasts like this one. Above all, Dr. T is usually passionate about empowering women and men too to take charge of their own health and happiness so they can live their life to their full potential. Kind of sounds like us, right? We want people to be really well all the time and have the best lifestyle. So she also believes that an unsurpassed health and performance is the birthright of every human being. And she's made it her life mission to bring it to you. So without further ado, here's Dr. T. Okay, everybody, in the locker room today, we have Mihaela. She's going to be a really cool guest. You're going to love her accent. You're going to love her content. Her story is really cool. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be in the locker with you.
Perfect. I love filling people's minds and their bodies and their spirits with, great content and information from experts like yourself that are, I call in the trenches, that are, working hard to help people to save lives, if you will, in the most natural way possible before they go bad, right? Or even if they do go bad. So let's hear a little bit about your story, because your story is really unique, and I know it's in your book, but let's hear a little bit about your story, because I think people are really going to connect with you with this story.
Right. Well, sometimes it's difficult to connect with someone that feels that's from another planet, but
it's okay. It's okay.
I feel many times. Yes, I think what's interesting is that I was raised in Romania when Romania was under communism. So that's where the accent comes from, in case our listeners are wondering what's up with the thick accent. I've been living in the United States for 18 years, actually. But nevertheless, my first 18 years of life were under communism.
Yeah.
And that was quite a very, very unique and different experience, life experience, that goes from food to information. Everything was rational and just, I would say, very organic, in the true sense of organic word, that we spent time with the family because we had no TV. We played like games using paper and wood because we had no manufactured toys.
Yeah.
We ate food that we grew ourselves, everything made of scratch, no food labels to read, no calories to count, like a concept that I was introduced to only when I moved to the United States 18 years ago. So it's quite interesting when you are your foundational years are so different than what the Western world is exposed to. I think that's what makes interesting when people get to talk to me, are like, wow, you stayed in line to get bread, and it was checked off how much you could get per day. Everything was rationed. So I make this joke, we go to amusement parks and people stay in lines to go on roller coasters. I'm like, no lines for me. Not a good association with lines. Wow. You stay in line for food, and when you get there is no more food. Sorry, go find another store that may have bread or milk or egg. So that's part of my, upbringing, what I knew of world to be. So when I came to United States, and wow, the land of plenty and of not walking and drive-thrus and escalators and all this convenience, I was, what is this? Is that real life, or is this real life?
Yeah.
So for many years, I didn't realize that the way I was brought up actually was, it almost gives me an unfair advantage, I call it, because I'm free from what food industry wants to tell me that I need or is good for me. I'm not used to looking at a commercial so I know what to eat or what to ask my doctor to give me as a medication. If that doesn't, it's almost like incomprehensible for most people that grew up with TV and commercials. We had no advertisement of any sort.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's so much easier for me not to buy into the advertisement, and maybe to just think that, I get the whole foods and I cook it at home because that's how it should be done, right? That's what I witnessed. So that being said, when I realized of those advantages, I felt like more compelled to use this to make it a strength that I can use to empower other people that may not know that. They may know microwave and box food and trying to figure out ingredients that you can't pronounce if they're good or bad for you, or the list goes on and on.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was going to say it's crazy because in the beginning of your book you said you remember the first time you tasted like Coca-Cola, which is something that's not in our diet. My wife and I, we don't drink any soda at all, and that for a zillion years. But you said it's not like made for human consumption.
No,
it's good for cleaning toilet bowls.
Perfect. and probably the least toxic, right, in terms of what you inhale.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, and that was a blessing in disguise, because my taste buds were not exposed to processed food for the first 18 years of life. After that, then of course Romania was open to Western world, so we started to get foods from the outside which we didn't know exist. We would make our own soda with the fruit syrup that my mother would make, because we preserved, everything was cooked and from scratch. And so in the summer when they had strawberries, for example, they would make the strawberry jam homemade, which nevertheless had sugar. It wasn't like sugar-free diet. It had sugar, and they would extract the syrup, which was in the bottles, and that was the concentrate we'd use with something you would call Alka-Seltzer, the sparkling water. Mix those two together. This would be like homemade soda. But the only processed ingredient was the sugar, and even that was like the brown sugar.
Of course.
Well, right, refined. So when I tasted Coca-Cola, I was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, that's crazy. So you come to the States, you start to is all of your schooling, as far as your professional schooling, was it here in the States?
No, I actually, so I was always I loved science. I did a biochemistry major high school, and from there I went to veterinary medicine because I liked human animal biology and physiology. When I was in my third year of school, I realized that I am not going to be a vet.
Okay.
Because it was just not my passion. And at the time in Romania was all large animals. They were not pets yet.
Yeah.
I was the first generation after, again, communism, and pet was just not in the culture. You had animals for purpose, such as protect the home or give you milk or work the land with.
Yeah.
Was no pets, just to have something to cuddle with.
Yeah, of course.
So I said, oh no, this is not going to be me. However, I finished veterinary medicine and I worked for 4 years in Romania in a laboratory for diagnosis, viral diseases and parasitology and histology. And I was about to go maybe into exercise physiology in Romania because I knew that I wasn't going to make it as a vet. I didn't love it. And I always loved health, and people would always come to me to ask me, oh, how do you do this? I was always fit and healthy and interested in upgrading, maintaining a state of well-being, which I was blessed to have. But I moved to the United States. So that
changed everything.
Made it for me. I was like, okay, I am not going to not speak English because I didn't speak English when I moved here 18 years ago, and I'm not going to go clean homes, which many people start with that when they move, immigrants. I said I'm going to go back to school. So 2 years after living in the United States, I picked up the books and I studied for the English test and then for the GRE, and I went and I did a master's in nutrition at FIU. And from there, I sat for my registration exam to be licensed and in good standing legally speaking, so I could practice. However, my dream was not to be part of a hospital, because when people are in the hospital, and I appreciate all the dietitians that want to work there and to do TPNs and tube feedings, those are necessary, right? But my goal for going into nutrition was to work with people to maintain a good state of health or to prevent from getting ill. So hospital was not the setting, obviously, for that. So I continued to just take courses in more holistic approach or integrative approach with Institute for Functional Medicine, mind-body medicine. I became a certified diabetes educator by necessity because as an outpatient dietitian for a big hospital, Jackson Memorial, for if any in the audience know, it's like the largest hospital system in South Florida. I saw like 80% of the people were diabetes type 2, metabolic syndrome, hypertension, obesity, cardiovascular, all the gamut of inflammatory metabolic disorders. So I did find appropriate to get some training into the ADA or the DAD, the Diabetes Association, carb counting and all that. So I did that. Not that it serves to help to know how to test blood sugar and what to look for levels and to know the drugs and all that. But ultimately, food can do so much more, because we both know it's a food and lifestyle induced condition. So
food was put here like for us to use, wasn't it? It wasn't meant to be put in a box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's kind of how I end up. It's like a blend of personal interest, of past experience that I felt like it was something I could add, because there are so many coaches and nutritionists and trainers and all that out there, and each one has their unique strength. And I found that this is my strength. I make cooking and shopping easy, not overwhelming. And by leading by example, I show people that it is possible. You really don't have to rely on drive-thrus or to call pizza in or even to buy the TV dinner. You can do it much more like economically speaking. It makes sense, as well as time. It can be built in our busy lifestyles today, and not to say about the end result. Like,
of course,
you feel so much better. You have the energy. You sleep good. You're in a good state of mind. No aches and pains. I mean, that's worth. Even if you have to spend 3 hours back to back in the kitchen, to me, that's worth it.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, and I think this is neat, for people that have kids or spouses, that if you're actually using like family time to actually cook and prepare, and like it becomes a social event. It's not, it's not like, oh crap, I have to cook dinner. It's like, like type of thing. Like it can be like, great, like what do we want to eat tonight? Let's get to this, whatever we got to do, get to the store, get the food, and let's make something fun,
Absolutely. And even with friends over, they come
to
me, and either they help me or they sit at the bar, and I almost give them cooking demos, and they all love it.
Yeah.
Because the food tastes so much. And then once you start eating real whole foods made in the house, you want to eat less and less out, because no matter how fancy the place is and how, farm to table and all that, is never as that home cooked food.
No, I think that's so true. People always ask me, like my patients that I take care of, and like, what are your favorite restaurants? I'm like, well, you want to know the truth? I'm like, it's my house. Like, my wife's not like, she loves cooking. I enjoy to cook when I'm home with her. Like and I mean, I don't eat as much, as I would if I went to a restaurant and they gave me like this plate the size of like, I don't even know, like whatever. And I feel like, listen, I'm Jewish, so I was brought up, like Jewish grandma's like, eat your food, type of, that type of thing. Finish your plate, clean your plate.
Yeah,
so
well, that's pretty much across the board.
Exactly, right? So like that was like kind of burned into my cellular makeup. So like I could eat a whole, if you put like a cow in front of me, I would eat the cow, like type of thing. I can't really do that now, but I could, like, I would eat till like I'm uncomfortable. So home is always my favorite. It's like you said, the healthiest, the smartest, makes time with your friends, family much more fun anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's jump into like where you are now. So you had a hospital setting, from a veterinarian to like, this is like a really cool little journey you kind of brought yourself through. And I think it's so neat that you say, with, where you were brought up as that unfair advantage. I think it's so neat that you were brought up without having all of the garbage, which is so cool. Like I couldn't even, like, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but what this country spends on healthcare for people that are obese, that, are sick from all of this, allowing genetically modified foods. Who the hell ever thought that was a good idea, right? But like this whole country is spending, I don't know, probably trillions, I have no idea, billions on trying to save people's lives that have just not taken care of them, unfortunately. But what if that's like the magic word, right? What if we had that kind of experience? Like, okay, you're going to cook food. Maybe not the ration part. That sounds crazy to me.
But even that was good, because I have no, it's like mentally, I don't feel the need to overeat, or if I don't eat, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like part of life. Yeah, sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less. It's all good.
Okay. No, perfect. But, I think it's so neat. Like, where would we be? Like, where would our society be? Like, what would we be focused on? Like, we wouldn't have, every single commercial be about a different drug for a different problem, which causes more problems. It's
the drug and the food. That's what.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a reason they call it the Food and Drug Administration, right? Crappy food, put you on drugs, and we just administer something here, and we recycle it back to crappy food more, and it's just like this evil cycle. But back to you, I told you I can get on rants if I get going a little bit. But you've been really active. With your book, let's talk about your book a little bit. Make Peace with Fats. I think fat, excuse me. It's such a cool thing because, in growing up in the US, I'm sure it was maybe still a little bit of the same, it's a little more now, but it's like, fat in general was like the scary, low fat diet, low this. I mean, it's just the way I was brought up too. I mean, that we ate mostly healthy, I would say. I was brought up in a chiropractic family. I'm an unvaccinated child. But I grew up in the U.S. So, I mean, we never had soda, but would I have pizza? Would I have other things? Yeah. I mean, it was just part of us. But, as I got older and I started to realize like, wow, I should probably be eating food more, like real food, the things changed. So talk to us about this book a little bit, because I think this is a really neat concept and it's a reality that has to happen.
Yes, the book it's way more than just making peace with fat.
Of course it is.
By the way, that would have been a better title if my English was my first language, because fat. Most people, when they hear the title, they think of making peace with their own fat, which it's okay to make peace with your own fat so you can eventually let go of it, right?
Yeah.
But make peace with fat would represent better the idea that is the dietary
the
fat.
food. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm talking about too. I hope makes sense, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I was just, unless somebody has a visual of the book, they will be like, oh, I don't want to make peace with my own fat. I want to lose it. But to lose it, you've got to make peace with it anyway.
Exactly. Yes. And have more of the good stuff, right?
More of
the good fat.
Right, the good fat. So the book, it covers more than just the fat aspect of our dietary intake. However, talking about fat and incorporating more good fats in our diet is the hardest work I have to do with my clients. Just like you said, so conditioned to be fat phobics. Mm-hmm. So they cannot let go of the idea of fat. You eat fat, goes right on your hips, it clogs your arteries, you're gonna die of heart attack, and you won't lose weight unless you count the calories and you match. I mean, you're in deficit, and that's when you're gonna lose the weight, or whatever I don't do weight loss per se. That's not my main thing. My main thing is health, but I don't yet one woman that doesn't want to lose at least 5 pounds. so it's
people,
always,
period. I think it's just the way it works.
Yes, it's always in the conversation. So that's why the title of the book is Make Peace with Fat. But I think the subtitle is more representative of what the book is all about. I don't know if you want to read that.
I will. I have it right. So I have it right here. I don't know if you can see it. There
okay. I have the book.
I see it right behind you.
I have to read it because I can't always remember the exact.
I got it right here. So it's applying ancestral wisdom and modern nutrition to reverse metabolic diseases, reset hunger, increase energy, and maximize performance. I mean, who doesn't want any of that?
I don't know. And it sounds like a lot of claims from one action, right?
Yeah.
But it's all so possible.
Yeah.
And we all can, if we put together traditional and even ancestral wisdom with what modern science is showing us, because what modern science does, it really gives us a validation or an understanding to how his body has been working for.
All right, we're going to take this technological issue break for a second here to share a commercial with you. Dr. T is going to be giving you a free month of her cooking school, that 1-year cooking school. She's going to give you a free month. The password is, or the coupon code is LLRPOD18. And you can also make sure you go to get her book. It's on Amazon. Everything will be in the show notes for you, so make sure you do get over there once you finish the show and have fun. Now, back to the podcast. So where we're kind of got a little fuzzy, is just talking about ancient wisdom. So I'll put a little blurb about the book or something. I'll cut it and I'll put a blurb about the book in there. So where you were saying, you were mentioning like ancestral wisdom, like food or something, was kind of got broken up for about like thousands of years.
Okay.
So if you want to, we mentioned the title of the book, right?
Right.
Ancestral wisdom and all of that. So if you want to jump in and say, like you started about the ancestral wisdom, because I was going to ask you a question anyway about that, because most people don't it's like a word. So
what does it mean? Because I differentiate between ancestral and traditional.
Yes.
I have like
okay.
timeline in history where like tradition, what I personally consider tradition, what ancestral means.
Okay. I think that's just what just so people understand a little bit more.
Maybe I'll say that. Yes.
Okay. So I'll start it's recording, but I'll start up and I'll say, so before we got a little disconnected there, we needed to realign maybe our Wi-Fi, whatever it was. You were talking about ancestral wisdom as far as nutrition and health and life and food goes. So what do you mean by ancestral wisdom?
So when I refer to ancestral wisdom, I go all the way to what I consider caveman, like 200,000 years ago, right? When humans roamed the earth with no homes, with no roads, with no shoes, in proximity with the earth, exposed to the elements of nature, and having to actively find their food, and meant not only moving where the food may have been present, whether they were looking for berries or nuts or roots or hunting animals, but also was very local and seasonal. So the way I'm trying to bring this to our life is, we today live in boxes, away from sunlight, in front of the screen. Thank God both of us are using blue blockers. Hopefully that helps with something, right? Yeah. So we never cold, we never hot, unless we do something like your marathon where you put yourself through that kind of
course
run, right?
Yeah.
We always seek comfort because yes, it's easier, but this comfort and convenient lifestyle is not optimizing our biology, is getting us sicker. So it's, when I say ancestral wisdom, I really refer not only to their food. We don't know exactly what they ate, and depending on where they were on this planet, they ate different things. What we know is that they didn't eat a lot, they fasted a lot. They must have had some feast times when they were able to hunt or gather something. They saw the sun, and they didn't even have sunscreen, right?
Yeah.
So somehow
they made it through.
They made it through. They were cold, they were hot. They sweated, they shivered. All those bodily functions were heightened. They used biology to optimum. Some may argue, how do we know how long they live? I don't know, and I don't necessarily go for longevity. What I go is for functional life. If I live 100 years, I want to be able for 100 years to ride my bike, to walk, to stretch, to eat, to be independent. If I get to live 70 only, I wish the same. So that's because some people argue, if you eat this way or stay in the sun or this or that, you die early. I die when it's time to die. I just want to live full, healthy, energetic, so I enjoy every second of my life. So that's how I try to always bring ancestral wisdom into the modern picture, just to get out a little bit of what we think is normal. We have to redefine normal, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what we need to do. And then traditional wisdom is also in the book, and that goes maybe 300 years back, before we had all the convenience of the supermarket or the food industry, or even the commercials that tell us what we should eat or drive or all that, right?
Yeah.
So that goes to fermenting the food, because we didn't have refrigeration, goes to salting or smoking naturally the food, goes to digging a pit in the ground and storing there the vegetables, and having the sense of community and helping each other is the social aspect of life. So I feel like we can learn so much from what happened in the past and blend it with some of the convenience things that we have in today's world, which is nevertheless this, like having Wi-Fi and video camera allows us to provide to talk. You're in New York, I'm in Florida, yet we come together and we bring a message to the world. So it's not like I'm trashing everything that we have in the modern day.
Of course.
I embrace, but I just want to like swift through and blend together the two of what's good in the two worlds.
Yeah, like what worked and why did it work, and
yes,
I agree that even just like the modern going back 300 years, I can just imagine communities being a community. I live on a private street in the suburbs of New York City with multiple acres, and I have neighbors which I'm friendly with, but it's not. It's not the same. It's not like it's not like we go out and like, all right, everybody, we're going to have like a picnic today. It's Saturday, and everybody meets and comes and brings homemade food. Yeah. Like we wave in our cars, hey, as we're driving by, and that's it.
Go.
I think we miss a lot. And I think that also translates, like you're saying, like it's to our health and to our food and just how we kind of do everything.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. Growing up, we had no babysitters. Mom was busy, the neighbor was available. The neighbor was busy, mom was available. Yeah. We were jumping the fence and just go. We didn't make appointments, but it was a different life, a different time, a different era. That's why I keep saying I'm from another planet. Yeah. I understand what's happening here now. We're all busy, on the schedule, driving far distances. It's all different. But that doesn't give us an excuse not to go the extra mile to try to create a community. Sometimes it's a virtual community, sometimes a community in where we live.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the health of the human soul.
Yeah, exactly. So making peace with fat, it's like making peace with yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
So when you say, also in the subtitle, you talk about resetting hunger. That's really an interesting concept. I can't say I've heard anybody even mention that. And I've had awesome conversations with people in functional medicine, cardiologists, sports performance people, everything. But I've never heard reset hunger out of anybody's mouth, I don't think, or read it anywhere else. So kind of describe, what does that mean?
Well, it means when the electricity, you have the outlet and you put it in and it doesn't work and you have to press that tiny button to reset it.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you reset hunger. We are conditioned just like Pavlov's dog was.
Yeah.
To eat, every 2 hours. We win, we eat, we set, we eat, everything has something to do with food. So we no longer know when we are hungry.
True.
So resetting hunger means feeling a little bit hungry, like going to the point where, you plug the outlet and it doesn't work, so you have to press the button. Just go and allow yourself to feel hungry. And let your body tell you what that is.
Interesting. I like that.
Because again, it goes back to feeling in touch with your body. And then you will realize that maybe you were thirsty. Oh, you were bored. Oh, it's always the time I eat, but I wasn't really hungry. Once you let that pass. So you reset hunger by being intentional about how you eat and what you choose to eat. And metabolically speaking, when we remove, and that's something I explain in the book, when we remove ourselves from being carb burners to becoming fat burners and using one of the byproducts, ketones, as one of the energy sources for the body, hunger resets. You may still have the hunger pangs if you go many hours without eating, but even those you can ride with a little bit of water or a cup of stock. But the real meaning is revamp the metabolism. So you are like your ancestors, where if food is available, you eat, you burn, you save. If food is not available, you don't eat, you burn what you saved.
Yeah.
And that helps reset hunger, because to a great degree, our hunger is mental, and it's a signal from the brain. The brain is like the computer that requires fuel all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like a very delicate sensor. If the blood sugar drops and there's no other fuel available, then the brain signals, you've got to eat. This is emergency. Mm-hmm. If the blood sugar drops, but the other fuel, I'm not going to call it alternative because I don't consider it alternative. Yeah. The other fuel is available, ketones, and the brain receives it, like a revolving door quickly.
Yeah.
It's not going to send you an emergency signal. You may get a signal like, I could eat something. Oh, I'm busy. It's okay. I can finish what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Kind of like our ancestors. This is how I like to joke about it. Okay, they are about to go and hunt, and finally it's lunchtime. But finally, what do they hunt?
Deer.
A deer shows up, and they will be all like, "Oh, but now we can't hunt. It's lunchtime. I've got to eat my lunch. Then I'm gonna go hunt."
Yeah.
No. There was no such thing lunchtime. It was we hunt, we eat, we whatever, sleep, do whatever we need to do. So I say in our modern life, it is the same. It's lunchtime when you want to stop or you need to stop.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be imposed by the time on the clock.
Yeah.
Physically.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's interesting. Go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I was just get me to thinking here.
So I was just wanting to say, to continue with so if the brain has fuel, it's irrelevant if it's glucose or if it's ketones. You are just stable, energetically speaking. You have energy, mental and physical.
Yeah.
That's how you reset hunger, like biological hunger.
Very cool. Very cool. I mean, I love getting into like mild forms of ketosis. It's kind of like having like that laser focus. It's kind of neat. Yeah. Energy wise. But so I've had this conversation, and this is maybe because I knew I was going to be on this call with you with my practice members. They're talking about food, and we're always talking about lifestyle, like from their chiropractic adjustments to what they put in their body to their exercise. And someone's like, "Oh, what do you eat for breakfast?" I'm like, I haven't had breakfast in maybe on a weekend I'll cheat and I'll have a breakfast, but I really don't eat breakfast like during the week ever for like the past couple of years. Like, what? Isn't it the most important meal of the day? I'm like, who sold you that? That idea. I think it's the cereal companies, type of thing.
The way I say when people ask what you eat for breakfast, I say it's breakfast is the most important. I say it's correct. The way you break the fast is the most important way. Nobody said it has to be at 6 o'clock when you open your eyes.
Yeah.
Whenever you decide to break that overnight fast, it's important that you eat something that it's not like putting hay on the fire, putting wood on the fire, because hay burns fast. So you need to keep putting it on. So that's like sugar. You fuel on sugar. You gotta eat it all the time. Yeah. You fuel on something that burns slower, longer term. You don't have to eat so often because now you have real fuel. And that's the fat and the ketones. Yeah,
it's interesting. And I love sharing that with people because it's just seeing the look on their face, like, you don't eat breakfast? How is that even possible? Yeah. How do you function during the day? I'm like, what do you mean? I don't think, honestly, I don't even think I ate anything. I think I had some algae before my ultra marathon. Yep. Like, that was I don't even know if your body really uses much of anything to digest a little bit of algae. I mean, it's like, but like that, no, I don't eat breakfast. It's kind of weird, and I'm talking to someone, I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's so neat to see how your body, and you grew up in this really cool way, but like how your body responds to, the term intermittent fasting is used now with this, but how awesome you feel, and varying it, like, like it's not like, okay, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm eating my first meal. But I love, like, my wife and I will go out on the weekend, we'll get up in the morning. We go exercise or whatever it is, come back and it's like, oh, we got to do some food shopping or got to go whatever. It's like 1 o'clock and it's like, she's like, are you hungry yet? I'm like, yeah, probably could eat now. Like, like this, not like we got to eat something like
ravenous,
yeah.
Right.
So it's really neat.
And that's, yeah. I tell funny with I have a group program. So today we had a group call, and that's exactly why we were talking. Like, how should I do this intermittent fasting? I said, let the day lead you.
Yeah. You're
busy. You don't eat. It's fine. When you have time to sit down and have a proper meal, that's when you're gonna eat. If you have a little bit more time, then you can eat at 12, at 1, at 2, but don't make it like the only time where I like to put a stop is to my night meal.
Okay.
Because I can't sleep if I have food in my stomach, personally. And it's just not good. The stomach wants to sleep like I want to sleep.
Yeah.
Keep the stomach busy while I'm sleeping, right? It's kind of like a funny way to think about it. But it's good to be flexible, to let the day, just like our ancestors, if they had the food they ate, if they had to run to hunt, they ran to hunt. It's not like they pre-plan it.
Yeah. So with this, I have another question. I actually interviewed another expert a couple of days ago. The podcast hasn't been produced yet, but she spoke about this is a very common topic, just from fat and things. But she spoke about intermittent fasting. Like, she eats in the morning and she stops at like whatever 3, it is, 2, 3 o'clock, and then she does it the opposite. I'm like, oh, I've never even thought of that concept.
Yeah. For some people that works better. For some people it works better the other way because of the social aspect. Most people sit down for dinner or they go out for dinner. That's why I chose it this way. I started it. No, actually, I always did like that because I was with my family. But maybe it has merit to stop in terms of weight loss. Maybe it has merit to stop eating earlier in the day.
Yeah,
and later in the day.
It was just interesting. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm thinking, like you just said, digesting food. I want my stomach to rest also. I'm like, it's neat, and I think this is a pretty cool evolution of what we're, what's to come. Like, the more we learn about being human, right?
Exactly. And it's about trying and paying attention to the feedback that the body gives you, and keep what's working and drop what's not, and just be mindful that you're ever changing.
Yeah.
So things change, the environment changed, what you do in terms of physical activities changing. So you've got to be flexible and work with it, not as long as we're talking whole foods.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm not shooting over to like Mickey D's or something.
That's the foundation.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. I want to ask one other question because people listening, like, I'm sure people are going to go and get the book. But it's like to me, it's a make sense book. Like, it's like
I think so. Although it's quite technical, for some people would say, oh, it's technical, but I try to use lots of analogies so people can understand. I'm a firm believer in understanding. Once is awareness. That's why even the book has 3 sections. Awareness. If you're not aware of something, you won't change. Awareness opens up a choice. Oh, now I know I can choose differently.
Yes.
Then I am firm believer in knowledge, understanding. If you have a good grasp of what you do, how it works, it almost acts like a fuel for change. And then you get the results, you get into action, you get results, and that reinforces that, yes, this is worth trying. It's worth climbing that Mount Everest, because when I'm in the summit, it's like, wow, I'm on top of the world. Because it's not easy. It's not easy making those changes. So that's why you have to just think of that climber. He doesn't go climbing, oh, this is fun, it's so easy, I can do this anytime in my sleep. No, it's a lot of pain. And I mean,
not Everest. I don't want to do that yet.
No, but the run you talked about, the first run, the marathon in New York with all the rain and all that. Like, oh no, you were freezing all the time.
Yeah,
running and freezing. Imagine, right?
Yeah, no, I get it, and I love that you say awareness. That's
why.
This is cool because this is just you're so connecting with the way I talk to patients right now in my head, like, but I'm not usually thinking of the words that you're using. But it's, like I show x-rays on a regular basis, and not this has anything to do with nutrition. But like that awareness and like, okay, this is wrong. This is not working the right way. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And that's their choice, right? That's what I love, that we're free to make any choice we want with our life and our health, especially here. So like, we're sick, but it's our choice.
Yep.
Or we're healthy, but it's our choice.
Our choice.
Yeah.
If sometimes we drift.
Yeah.
If we are outside of awareness, we drift, and with chances to drift to where you want to get, it's pretty slim.
Yeah.
But when you have you are aware and you make a choice, you aim to that target.
Yeah, that's
it's
great.
It's a totally different. Yeah.
So how do you work? Like, we go from like a vet that's studying and looking probably through microscopes at cells, histology and pathology, to someone that is an author of a book on all things like natural health through food and life. And how else do you work with, like, what else do you do now? How else do you work with people?
Right at the moment, I do private coaching. I don't believe in one-time session unless someone just wants to pick my brain. Yeah, I can sit down with the person and answer questions. I believe in transformation that takes time. There's no quick fix. It's a long life journey. And I feel like I can be part of someone's journey for 3 months, 6 months, or a year, or whatever length of time they need. So I coach. And I have group programs. The next one is going to start in September, which is a hybrid. I like the group aspect of the program because of that community we create. Like we're missing the people. When I work one-on-one with the person, they feel so isolated. Very few of their family members or friends get this. It's like swimming against stream. And it's difficult to stick, to implement. You feel lonely, and then you don't. So I created this program. It's called Transformation 10, where it's a hybrid. I see every member. That's why I can't take more than 10 people in one group. Everyone private, and we meet as a group. As a group, we create that sense of community where we work together on cooking, fermenting, sprouting, all those things, detoxing, dry brush, oil pulling, all those things that are part of lifestyle. And individually, I work with them to help them fine-tune their nutrition or exercise, whatever it's necessary to reach their unique goals. So I feel like that's the best program. And that's something I'm offering twice a year. So I start one in January. Actually, it was, let's say February, because we started at the end of January. And the next one is going to be September, so twice a year. Yeah. And I have a cooking school that I'm launching right now. Oh, many people would read my book and are like, oh, what are the recipes? The book has 1 week menu with recipes. And my approach is very much integrated with the gut health aspect of things, healing and sealing the gut, inoculating with good microbes. So it's a blend of gut reset with metabolic reset. And to help, people always want a recipe. How do you ferment? How do you make the meat stock? How do you cook liver? How do you bake grain-free? All these things. So I'm launching now, actually, today is the first day, and I'm going to do it as a school, because I do individual workshops. But I feel like if I put it all in a school, like a 1-year school, you want to learn how to cook all these things, get on the 1-year program, and once a month, master one new healing food.
Cool. That's exciting. That's good. I think that's a great...
I feel like that's more like an easy step for someone that's not ready to take a big coaching, because coaching requires commitment. I commit to holding your hand. You want to commit to being held.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking the journey, because it's taking the journey together. It's like we are going to climb Everest together instead of you trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
And assuming that I climbed Everest like many times.
Yeah, well, experience has a lot to play in this game. I mean, there are unfortunately a lot of like Instagram experts, that haven't had any kind of real life experience, and
Well, it's a blend of experience and training,
No, but that's what I mean. Yeah, totally. There are people that's what I'm saying. Like, so you have you've been through it, you've lived it. It's not that this is something you just picked up last week and you're like, this is a good idea, type of thing, So I appreciate that. I mean, I think this is you're a great way. I'm glad to have you on, and glad to be able to share you with our audience, because I think it's going to be an awesome win for anybody that either buys the book or wants to do any coaching. Or I think the cooking school is super cool.
I think so. It's like the best idea I slept over.
Yeah,
I've been thinking, well, how am I do this? So it's actually, it helps because you buy one workshop here, one workshop there, but what if you have a continuity and you commit to, okay, I really want to change the way I eat? It has to start in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, farmer's market, kitchen.
Yeah.
you can. I mean, there are tips how to eat out, but you really have to be committed to being in the kitchen at least one time a week to prep something for the week, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's so good. So good. So we are going to share all of this content, and, if it's, I'm sure this will be out, right? We'll be producing this, and this school will be available. So I'll make sure we'll have links for that in their show notes, links for your book, links for, any way to connect with you, via social media. And I already have most of that already. So I think that, I can't wait to see what you're up to next. I mean, from everything you're up to, this is, I feel like we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
So very cool. So I want to thank you so much for being here with us. This is, was really good. Even though our little technological hiccup in the middle, which everybody's going to miss, we're going to fix it. But it's it was great. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Locker Nation, how much did you like Dr. T? Did that inspire you at all to take some action in your life to create a healthier, better lifestyle using whole food? Make sure you go grab her book, Make Peace with Fat. Grab it on Amazon. Give her an awesome review. She is super cool, and I hope you enjoy it. Also, make sure you register for her one-year cooking class. You do have a coupon code in the show notes. You're going to be able to connect with her, get that cooking class, get that 1 month free, learn, and just become a healthier, better version of yourself. You're the hero in this story. You know that, right? You're the hero. So take action, create your future you want, healthier, happier, more abundant. And we'll see you on the next episode, Locker Nation. Peace out. Bye-bye.